This is the Outlaw Apostle Show. I am Troy Neff, and this is a little bit different. We just had an assassination attempt on the president, on President Trump, and so this is kind of an emergency podcast. It's not our normal recording day, but something that we wanted to do and just share our thoughts today, and hopefully you get some value from our content today. If you do, please hit the subscribe, like. We appreciate you. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never.
And welcome. This is an emergency podcast of the Outlaw Apostle Show. I am Troy Neff, your host, and we decided to do an extra episode. It is Sunday, July 14th, early afternoon here in Arizona. Just a day, less than a day, really, after President Trump was, where an attempted assassination was committed yesterday on President Trump, which everybody obviously is aware of. And I had a lot of feelings yesterday. I had feelings, obviously, of anger when I heard that Trump supporter, who I believe was a fireman, who covered his family, was shot and killed. Little things irritated me listening to this yesterday, as it happened before my girlfriend Dawn and I went to dinner with friends. And obviously we talked about it at dinner for a little bit too. But that little things irritated me, like when you would hear a news person or somebody say that the guy, the supporter, I don't have the name, I didn't write it down, I apologize for that, but that the supporter was killed, and they said he passed away. He didn't fucking pass away. You pass away in your fucking sleep, okay? You know, you don't pass away from a bullet shot. You're killed. Now, maybe wasn't the intended target, so you don't maybe call it murder. I don't know. But it just irritated me, little things like that, or, Trump injured, or just the way some of the certain headlines first came out. It was like, what? It's like, why is it that you can't just report the fucking obvious that everybody is looking at? I mean, at first, the way it was reported, like right away, in the first minutes, it seemed like there were shots at him, but nothing hit him, and that maybe the blood and everything around his ear was from the fall or something else. Like, you just didn't get right away what it exactly was that he was actually shot and hit. He just, and to the disappointment of many on the left who have exposed themselves, dumb enough to expose themselves, disappointed that it wasn't a good shot. It wasn't a shot that ended him. And I do want to say this before I continue. You can see let me also introduce Chase. Chase is here. He came on a Sunday, not our normal day for recording, to set up, because this kind of thing is something we want to be able to do and is important. And it's for me. It's for me to be able to deal with this and process this in my head and to share my thoughts on it. Because there's a lot of shit out there, and there's going to be a lot of shit. But yeah, thank you for doing this.
Anytime.
Yeah,
there's no problem for me.
So
I do have his name, by the way.
Yes, please.
Corey.
Corey. Yes.
I can't pronounce his last name. I'm gonna try, but
it's okay.
Compertor.
Okay.
I tried. Sorry.
You tried. That's all good, man. Much love and respect to that family, whose father is a hero. what the fuck did we think was going to happen? So some of my initial thoughts were, I'm so sick of people on the left repeating the same shit of the last 8 years. Whose mind do you think you're going to change by bringing up the same shit of the last 8 years? I'm so sick of being called a racist because I mentioned I wear my MAGA hat, and Chase has seen me wear I have a collection of MAGA hats now.
Just a few.
Just a few. And the reason, and I have some other Trump hats that I bought originally when he first ran and stuff, and I'll still wear those. But the reason I really like the MAGA hat is because it's a Richardson. It's a really good hat. And second is because I don't think people on the left understand that the MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, is bigger than Trump. He was just smart enough to get in front of it. But I'm just sick of being called a racist because I support President Trump. I'm sick of hearing him being called a racist. This is a man who at no point in his long business career was ever called a racist until he decided to actually, because he teased for a number of years actually about running for president. And then, he was just teasing. But it wasn't until he was serious and he came down that escalator that they began to call him a racist. What is it, like 38%? He's got like 38%, I believe, Latino support. It's big.
It's big, yeah.
It's big. And you might say, well, he doesn't have support of the black community. I believe in both elections that
really
Trump had higher minority support and black support, black voters, than any other Republican candidate in history. Any. Now, it's, not as good as the Democrats because, people have been lied to and, they're putting everybody in a box. And, President Biden said that, if you don't vote for him, if you're black, then you really aren't black or something to that effect, right? Didn't he say that on that Charlemagne's show, something like that?
Oh, the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
It does say here that if we were to vote right now, 43% of Latino Hispanic people would vote for Trump as of May 20 of 2024.
Because he's a racist against Mexicans and thinks they're all rapists, which is just not true. That's like saying that, all Cubans are bad when Castro let out, most people weren't alive. Most of y'all young people weren't alive during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Watch the movie Scarface, okay? The beginning of the movie Scarface is true. It's true. He let people out of jails in prison in Cuba and put them on boats and sent them here to America. And we took them. We tried to weed them out. I don't know how good a job we did.
Not a very good one, I'll tell you.
I don't know. But a lot of support. Why? Because all Mexicans do not think alike. All Latinos do not think alike. And a lot of Latinos are of Catholic faith, and they're very pro-family. I mean, they're tight. Familia, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Family values.
Looks like since 2000, the U.S. population for Hispanic people grew from 35 million to 42 million in 2021.
Yeah. Well, no offense, I don't believe those numbers. I think it's even higher.
I think it's even higher than that, to be honest with you.
I don't believe any of the numbers anymore. And I don't believe what happened yesterday. I'm just having a hard time because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. All right. I'm not. Sometimes conspiracy theories prove to be true.
Especially recently.
I don't know if the government was involved. This just goes, I don't even trust the FBI. And you can think whatever you want of me for not trusting the FBI, but I don't trust the FBI because I don't trust what happened during the election against Hillary Clinton when they fed the FBI false information that the FBI then used to spy on the president. And the fact that some people can't admit that we know that for a fact to be true and that should never, ever be done to anybody of any party, just, I don't get it. But on the other hand, here's my problem. I want to believe in my fellow American. I want to believe that in individualism, in rugged individualism, and that, you taking care of yourself. And I know some people can't, and we have to take care of them, but good Lord, I also know that I feel like many days that almost half of America is dumb as shit. I'm just being honest how I feel.
More than half, I'll be honest with you.
And here's why I think that. And I think that about people about my age, maybe just a little bit younger and older, that I'm going to talk to you about something about Facebook. When I see, because I have about 5,000 friends on Facebook and over 5,000 followers on Facebook, that when I see people make posts that say that pass along fake information, literally fake information, like, and where the fake information has been passed along every few years, like 3 or 4 times now, like Facebook is going to start charging. I saw it on the news last night. It's true. You have to copy and paste this, or your pictures, they're going to have access to your pictures. They're going to charge you. Oh my God. I'm like, how the fuck dumb are you? Why did you click on that and share that? And if you're unsure, why can you not spend 30 seconds fact checking something? I had somebody get mad at me the other day because of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Did I bring that up the last episode?
I don't think so, no.
So Jay-Z and Beyonce, that they put up this post where Jay-Z was accused of spending $20 million to pay radio stations to play Beyonce's new country music. First of all, it's illegal. Pay to play is not illegal. I'm not going to say that corruption doesn't go on or that maybe some bullshit doesn't go on. But what I do know about that post and that type of information is that it originally started on a satire site. See, sometimes people will share something and they just share the whole thing, right? So when they share the whole thing, usually where it came from is also on there, and you can click on that, and that will take you to the original page. And at the top of there, it'll literally tell you, don't believe this shit. It's satire. This is not true. Nothing on this page is true. But then people will post it. And it really bothers me when conservatives do it. My conservative friends do it. Because it's like, do you not realize that the left is trying to make you look fucking stupid? They're trying to make you look dumb by reposting this shit. So people will believe, if they'll believe that kind of shit, if they'll believe, if you do this and pass this along and put your finger on and paste it, that you're going to not see as many Facebook ads and you're going to see more of your friends. It's true. It worked. And then later on, you see down there, oh, it didn't work. Well, fucking delete it because you look stupid. You look stupid. And especially, I don't know if I don't have as many young people, obviously. So I've not seen many of the young people on my page pass that stuff along. It is older people. Have you seen young people pass that stuff on or no?
Not necessarily on Facebook, but if you go over to X, Twitter, the amount of misinformation you get, they actually like a year or two ago put in something where they fact check things for you now. So it's because that's how lazy people are. There was a period in time like about a year or two ago where there was so much misinformation on X.
Well, it would be like Sylvester Stallone passes on $150 million because he doesn't want to work with this liberal and blah, 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 blah. And then they rework it. It's just, but it buys into the narrative because the person wants to believe that, this conservative would tell this other woke person to go fuck off.
Yeah. It's easy to make things up nowadays.
But it's also, at least it's easy to me to see, like right away, I was like,
that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't seem right.
The numbers don't add up there.
And they hate it when I point it out to them.
It's because they don't like
And I try to point it out in a nice way. I just like, look, that's not true. And I provide them a link or something.
I think people just don't like feeling stupid. I think that's what it is.
Let's stop doing stupid shit.
100%.
But look, I think the government uses that.
Oh, yeah.
They see how stupid people are. They also have what we went through in the pandemic now, right? That whole time period. And we can still go. You and I can go out and somewhere, it's maybe a small percentage, single digits now, but I could take you to the casino. Okay, there's a casino near here now, Santan.
The new one, yeah.
The new Santan Casino, Gia River Resort, Santan. And some of the workers there, 3, 4, 5. I know one of the dealers did. Wears a mask. Still wears a mask in 2024. Still has a fucking mask on. I mean, how bad did we scare that motherfucker that they're still wearing the damn mask?
There's a lot of those people.
There's still, but there shouldn't be any at this point. There shouldn't be anybody.
It goes to show you how
doing
powerful the propaganda for
It was. That's my point.
That's the one thing I was gonna say. I mean, America's been great at using propaganda. I mean, even before America was America, like propaganda was the biggest
and that's
thing.
But we're gonna have the same thing with these conspiracy theories already. There was already a person that works for the Dem rep, Benny Thompson. He's on the Homeland Security. He's on that committee, and I believe he might be the head of that committee. He's from Mississippi, and the woman's name is Jacqueline Marsall. She's been with him, I believe, a little over a year, but she made a dumb post on X, and so I'm gonna read that. It's been deleted, but somebody's gonna capture that. That shit's gonna stay out there forever.
If it's on the internet, it's gonna be on there.
And how stupid do you have to be a Democrat, and even worse, a Democrat that works for a Democrat representative and post something like this and think that you're not going to get fired?
Or at least some sort of repercussion.
Well, but there's only one repercussion now. You know what I mean? You want to talk about getting canceled? This will get you canceled because they can't have it. They can't have it. They can't look like the bad guys, the evil people that I believe they really are. And I believe the left is nothing but motherfucking evil. It's evil to repeat over and over again that we're racist when we're not. That's just too far. That's a bridge too far. You know what else is too far? Is when they say that Hitler over and over and over again. You are talking about one of the biggest maniacs in the history of time, of all time. Hitler, wanting to eliminate a whole race. And I'm sorry if this hurts your fucking feelings, but wanting to deport people who came to this country illegally, not just maybe they came through from Mexico, but our biggest problem, I don't really have a problem with Mexicans coming. I don't have a problem with immigration. Now, I know there's a certain segment that does, that, wants to limit all immigration. I only want to limit illegal immigration. And I believe there are more people like me that want to improve legal immigration, just come here legally. Because I got to tell you, here in Arizona, we wouldn't build a motherfucking thing without Mexicans. Nothing gets built here without Mexicans. You look at every crew around here. Am I lying? Am I telling you?
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up working construction for 14 years, and I can guarantee you that is correct.
It's 80-90%, dude.
No,
it just is.
I lived it. You're telling the truth. You are telling the truth.
If I wasn't half Italian, I'd want to be half Mexican. I told you that before. I love Mexican. Like I'd fit right in. I love them. That's not the thing. I don't want people to come here illegally because I don't want 130 people that they caught that were on the terrorist watch list that they caught. Well, how many didn't they catch? There at least has to be that many or more, right? At least.
Those numbers are large.
Why does that not matter? After 9/11, why does that not matter? It matters. And they're coming in from so many other countries. They're just coming through Mexico to get here. So the biggest percentage, I don't even know that they're Mexican anymore. The biggest percentage,
I'm pretty sure
they're coming from all of the countries around there and even other parts of the world, China even.
They just know it's easier to get through Mexico.
Of course it is. But try breaking into Mexico.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, you got to deal with certain people.
I just want people. My whole point is that wanting to deport people who are not supposed to be here, okay, and came here illegally, and then people who break the law once they're here, and we're still not sending them back, and we know they're here illegally, and then they commit other crimes and even murder. It's insanity. But wanting to do that is not the fucking same thing as putting 7 million people on boxcars and sending them to concentration camps. There is no equivalent. It is not the fucking same. That was Hitler. Deporting people is not Hitler. Maybe some of you motherfuckers ought to read real international news and see the problem of immigration. You know what happened in Spain the other day?
I did see that.
In Spain the other day, in Barcelona, it's not immigrants. They don't want tourists. A group of people, I don't know how many it was, loaded up squirt guns and were going around spraying tourists with water because as their protest for tourists, too many tourists in Barcelona. And there are other countries that, again, have issues with immigration. Because whatever the country is, and when you come here, what do we want you to do?
Succeed.
Be American. Be whatever you are. Celebrate your heritage, but be American. That's all. Just be an American. Assimilate.
Just follow the rules.
Just come in. Contribute. This is the greatest opportunity on the face of the earth. The greatest. But if you don't think saying Hitler over and over again matters, it does. It does. Calling us racist over and over again matters. It does. And it's just so fucking frustrating. And then people aren't buying it. Let me tell you, nobody's buying this threat to democracy. You know what's a threat to democracy? It's a threat to democracy when you put the federal government, the FBI, when you allow the FBI to illegally monitor a presidential campaign of your opponent. That's a threat to democracy. And you know what? It wasn't just about votes on election day. Some weird shit happened. Why can't we agree on that? That, to me, what the problem was between election day and inauguration day is if some shady shit happens, you don't have enough time to get the shady shit exposed and go through the courts, that there's just not enough time. There isn't.
It's like they
just have to run out the clock, man. You can't get the machines. If you get the machines, when did you get the machines? You know, if they already had a chance to tamper with the machines. And maybe there was none of that. But you know what I do know 100%? I do know that there was election interference. And I'm not talking about Russia or China. We all do that. We do that in other countries' elections. So the fact that they were doing that to us was so minor and such small. It's us doing it to us. There was election interference. Twitter. We have the Twitter files. It's documented. Elon Musk exposed it. He put it out there for everyone to see. And it mattered. You may think that Hunter's computer doesn't mean shit. It's about the president. We don't care about Hunter. It does matter when 51 people who are a part of the intelligence apparatus, have or were a part of it, sign a letter that's made public that dismisses the Hunter Biden laptop and says it was fake and it was Russian propaganda, all Russian propaganda. Remember, they told us that Trump was Russian, that he was like a Russian spy almost. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But coming back to because I don't think we finished the thought of the whole Trump assassination.
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm just kind of setting the stage for that whole thing of, like, why did this happen? Partly why this happened is this rhetoric. And now what we're going to hear and what we're already hearing from mainstream media and the Democrats and the left, both sides have to ramp things down. Both sides. There's more on your side, motherfuckers. It's not us. Okay? I don't like Biden's policies. But at no time have I ever said or ever posted or ever communicated privately have I ever said anything where I wished him fucking dead. Ever. You know what I did wish? I wished him home with his wife and family. That I truly do, because I think propping him up the way he's being propped up with his medical condition. And look, they have some good days. They have some okay days. That's how dementia goes. He is not capable. Why haven't they released the interview with the special prosecutor, her? Because we could hear the audio, and the audio might not match up to the transcript. And what would y'all think of that if that happened? Because basically, you can call Trump a felon, okay, and say, well, you know, Trump hid these documents, and, well, Biden had documents, and the only reason he wasn't prosecuted was because the prosecutor said he didn't think he could win it in trial because the dude's not competent. He didn't say because he didn't do it. Or how many people get convicted of fraud which Trump was, when the people he supposedly defrauded weren't a part of it. There was no bank or investment company that claimed that Trump defrauded them. In fact, they said they wanted to continue to do business with him. Now, do you own your house?
Currently
do you rent?
I'm currently paying it off, but I own it.
But you're going, yeah, okay.
It's under my name.
Yeah, okay. So, if you don't mind me asking, if you do, tell me, okay.
Yeah.
What was the property listed as when
I originally purchased it?
When you originally purchased it?
If I remember correctly, it was sitting around 260.
Okay. And then that's what they were asking for it.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. What did you ultimately end up paying for it?
240.
So tell me, is the property worth 260 or 240?
It's worth like 3 something.
Well, now, today.
Right now. It's
But
worth
what
like,
was it?
Oh.
But what was it worth when you did it? It was worth 240.
240, 250.
It was worth what you paid for it, basically.
Give or take, yeah.
Because that's what it's sold as.
Yeah.
The only time you know what the value of a property is when it finally sells.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And you have an estimated value now, right?
Yeah. But I won't know until someone actually comes in and inspects the house and all that.
But and even so, right? We all know this. Let's say because now you have equity in it,
correct?
Right?
Yep.
Because you've paid on it, you paid down on principal, you put money down, and then also it's appreciated.
Yeah.
Right? Because you said over 300,000.
Yeah.
Right. But that's still a guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And then the bank's you have a guess, the bank has a guess. The bank just wants to know that, whatever the guess is going to be high enough to cover their ass
100%.
if somebody's not able to make the payment, basically, right?
100%.
That's not fraud. And everybody is going to do whatever they can legally that when you report to the IRS, you want to give them the lowest number that you can legally get away with for tax purposes. What's the lowest number you could say this thing is worth for tax purposes? But when you're selling, you want to get as much as you can. Or if you're borrowing against it, you want it as appraised as high as you can get it fucking appraised. But who took the risk? The banks. The banks got all their money. Trump, this was not a matter of Trump filing bankruptcy or anything. Where was the fraud? There was no fraud. So you motherfuckers can say he's a felon and he's committed fraud, but he didn't. Like, you don't have to, take hate away for one motherfucking second and just look at the facts. And it's easy to see, no. That didn't happen. That's why we're still here. That's why we're still voting for him. And we don't believe he raped, and rape wasn't it. It was like some other sexual assault with the old chick. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's not true. This guy had the ability to grab young pussy whenever he wanted. And I don't give a fuck if you like me saying that, because there's a lot of rich guys that do. Come out here to Scottsdale, see how many old guys are grabbing young pussy. Come out here. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? These 30-year-olds are not with 60, 70-year-olds for anything but the money. And maybe that, if they're getting it if they're two adults and they agree on whatever they agree on, it ain't my motherfucking business anyways. I'm not in a cult. I don't follow Trump as a cult. Trump is not my Jesus. He's not my pastor either. He's a sinner, just like me. And if he considers himself to be a Christian, if he believes Jesus Christ died on the cross for his sins, and he's asked for forgiveness, and he believes that Jesus rose from the dead, and you know what I mean? That's his business. And you may agree or disagree. The last, you know who gets to judge? God in the end. God makes the judgment. Not you. Not you in your robe on your high horse, in your judgment robe. You don't get to make the final decision. It is what it is. I'm not, this whole thing about morality and character. I saw what Trump did for 4 years. And I can tell you what I didn't like that Trump did. And it mainly had to do with COVID. And it mainly had to do with listening to the bureaucrats. And I wish we were in an environment that he could just say, I was wrong. But we're in an environment that you're not allowed to admit you're wrong anymore because you just get hammered. But I wish he could, because that's who he really is to be able to be open like that. Just tell it like it is. That's mostly what we like about him. But just say, you know what? If I had to do it all over again, I would not do it that way. And if something happens again, I will not let it happen that way. And you have to understand, he wasn't a part of the political establishment, and that even the political establishment of the right put people in his path that really weren't trying to do or on the same mission that he was. Our mission, MAGA's mission. And you can kill Trump. You can get rid of Trump. But there's 80 fucking million motherfuckers of us. 80 million plus MAGA. Remember that. You can't get rid of all of us. We were here before Trump, and we will be here after Trump. I promise you that. We're not going away. And I wasn't happy with the direction of the Republican Party, and we have a two-party system. And I sure wasn't going to become a fucking liberal. So my choice was to do what I can by voting, by making my voice known and opinion known, to change the Republican Party. And we've kind of done that. You know, it's not the party of the so-called rich anymore. No, we're a blue class party now. We are. Yeah, there's some rich people. There's rich people on both sides. Both sides. So all of that stuff matters. The constant harping over and over again. Hitler and racist. And then, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see, I posted it, I believe, on my Facebook, that apparently, I'm going to pull this up, because apparently President Biden was in a meeting with someone.
July 8th. We're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in the bullseye.
Yep. President Biden, July 8th, 2024. We're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. I think, I don't remember who it was, like something similar was said, maybe about putting a Democrat one time in the crosshairs. And man, shit blew up over that. It was a big, big deal. Some not too many years ago. And it should be. You know, you can't have this type of violent rhetoric. You can't keep saying that if this person gets back in office, that we're going to have a dictatorship, because we're not. If Trump wanted to be a dictator, he had a chance to be a dictator, and he didn't take it. He did the exact opposite of being a dictator. The exact opposite. But you can't say that over and over again and not have some fucking whack job. Now, you know who I blame? I blame the whack job. But I'm not going to let these motherfuckers off the hook, because they've been pointing the finger at us, conservatives, over and over again, and I'm done with it. I'm just done with it. So let's get into just a little bit here because I don't want to go on too long. But I didn't even know I was going to go that way. That was all right here. From here, like just giving you back what I'm thinking, why I think it. That's what sets me up for this. Here's what, well, knowing what we know now, and it's Sunday, early afternoon, okay, just shy of a day, a few hours
I was
away,
about to say a few hours. Yeah.
just a few hours shy of a full day, excuse me, of the assassination attempt. Knowing where he was on the building, initially I had heard it was up to 300 yards away. It was like 148 yards away. And the building that he was on and where the stage and everything was, yeah, you have the main perimeter and where everybody comes through, but like this should have been easily protected. How did this not? And now we know there's been a guy I've seen interviewed. I've seen the same interview 3 or 4 times now. He's wearing a Trump visor with the fake orange hair, which is kind of funny because he's a redhead too. So it's all this crazy red. But the guy, I believe every word he said, just because of the way he said it and how precise he was, that they saw Thomas Crooks, the shooter, climbing the ladder to get on top of the roof. They saw him
Multiple times.
They pointed him out to local law enforcement, who he said basically like were dazed. You mean to tell me a local law enforcement officer hears that and he's not running to that motherfucking ladder, trying to climb it, radioing other people immediately? Why wouldn't that be what happens? The scope. There was no scope. I can tell you this. I showed Chase some arms. Some arms.
Some beautiful ones, by the way.
And I showed him what a real sniper rifle looks like.
The proper
like
equipment.
a Mosin, okay? You take a Mosin, single shot, right? One at a time.
Bolt action.
Yep, bolt action. Because and you have a good scope on it, and I have a good scope.
It couldn't even have been a good one. A scope.
Right.
A scope.
But you have a really good one. You don't have to be somebody who's practiced or has military experience, because I can tell you that when I've went out shooting with my friends, and especially my friend Todd, that I believe it was, we had 100, 300, and 500, and the 300 was pretty cool. But when we did the 500 yards, hitting a metal plate literally this big, 500 yards away, and we could hear it, I got a hard on.
I don't blame you.
I'm telling you.
I really don't blame you.
That shit was cool as fuck, man. And I don't even have the greatest eyesight. So, but I knew he didn't have a true sniper rifle when I heard the replay yesterday immediately, that I knew it was a semi-automatic rifle. And you motherfuckers again, shut up about ARs and what the looks of a rifle is. A semi-automatic rifle is a semi-automatic rifle, and we can make some of them look scary. They are not weapons of war, okay? You're not, you have to go through a lot of shit to be able to own an automatic weapon now. Like a lot of shit. It's hard. Not anyone can just own one. That's not a thing. Okay? It's not a thing. But anyway, so like, it's odd that he didn't have, like if you're going to do this, that like You're not going to have the right
proper
equipment,
Yeah.
basically. Because to use the regular sights that you would put on it,
An iron sight.
you're going to have to probably be within 50 yards.
And it was 400 feet, by the way. 120 meters.
Okay. Yeah, like 130 yards.
Give or take, yeah.
But you have to, with the sights, you have to be a lot better. A lot better. And most people are not your average people. And this is just a 20-year-old kid. And his dad just got the rifle within the last 6 months. So when did they go shooting together? How often? They'll figure all that shit out. They will. And apparently it's been said too, this kid was bullied, which I believe.
A loner
If you
and
see
an
him,
outcast.
Yeah. I believe that just by looking at him.
His peers considered him a loner and an outcast. But they say
But he also had, an IED. He had bomb-making materials. He had stuff in his car. He had stuff at the home. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But if I were to be a conspiracy theorist, I would kind of think this. I would think he was somehow recruited, put up to this, and the plan was to kill him after he made the shots, whether he succeeded or not. Simply because dead men don't talk. That's as far as I'll go with the conspiracy theory. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Hopefully we get them. I don't know if we'll get them. I mean, look, we still debate, JFK's death. So I don't know how transparent this is going to be. And again, as I said, I don't trust the FBI. I just don't. And I hate to say that. I really do. I hate to say that. And that affected, like there were times, like I'm man enough to say I teared up a couple of times yesterday. That like
the thought,
just taking him out,
where
like,
we're going and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Where would you think that would lead to if the assassination was? Because I'm assuming this isn't going to be the last time, right? I mean, it's hard, in my eyes, it's hard to believe that this will be the last time. Especially, obviously, if they tried once, I mean, who's to say they're not going to try again?
Well, and we're not saying it's a group. It's just they've created so much crazy anger, and they've stirred it up on both sides. Like, let me tell you, did you know that there were, I believe, 4 people that died on January 6th, and they were all Trump supporters. Now, they had initially claimed like up to 10 people had died on January 6th. But some of the people that they claim that died on January 6th, and especially like law enforcement, were law enforcement officers that died later, and some even of suicide later, committed suicide at a later date after that.
Are you referring to the Capitol attack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, like the way they've championed January 6th, but had no problem with a whole summer of burning cities and taking over police stations, that law enforcement was afraid to go in some areas in some big cities like Portland. How many of those people that burned property and committed felony acts were prosecuted? Okay. And now we're saying what? It's okay if you're we're just trying to understand your rage, and it's okay. You're pro-Palestinian. You don't understand any of the chants, and then you go into a building and you take over the building, and there are janitors that work in the building that you don't let leave, right, for a while, and you break property, you take over property that is not yours, that is not peaceful protest, and yet none of the people at Columbia University that were arrested will be prosecuted. All charges have been dropped against all of them.
I did not know that.
Now you do. So but what message does that send? The message is they can do whatever the fuck they want and get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, I promise you this. You motherfuckers are going to go too far, and you're not going to do that shit in my town. I don't know how to stress this enough. There are 80 million of us. How many guns are there in the U.S.? Look that up. Isn't it like 400 million?
It's a lot.
It's like 400 million. But my question is this. Who do you think owns the majority of those guns? I'm just saying you might want to think twice. It's like going into the bar and picking a fight with the biggest motherfucker there. That might not be the smart thing to do. It just might not.
Jesus Christ. There is 393,347,000.
That was pretty close, wasn't it?
And
I was only 7 million off.
there's about 30 million more guns than there is people in the U.S.
Well,
There's probably even more than that that are not registered. You know,
and some of us have 10, 15, 20.
yes. Usually, if you own one, you have a few more than just one.
So 330 million people don't have guns.
At least that we know of.
Right, that we know of.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just saying, like, I'm okay with the fight being at the ballot box. But this bullshit about motherfuckers taking over roads, blocking roads, burning buildings.
Who does that benefit?
We're done. We're done with your fake peaceful protests. We're done. We're done being called racist. We're done. And the Hitler thing, shove that shit up your fucking ass. We're done. Going to be a lot of unhappy people come November, and it ain't going to be us. And you have to decide whether or not you want to be a part of the future solution or whether you want to be a part, continue to be part of the problem. Because this doesn't end well unless it ends soon.
So
it doesn't end well.
Where do you think things go from here in your personal? I know we don't have the answers.
I know, but I don't know at this point. So I just think I think some really I'm telling you that people like me were done tolerating the bullshit and the hypocrisy and people just getting away with shit, and it's not cool. It's not cool that people from January 6th were put in jail because they went inside of a building, and other people, because they went into a different building, are not. And in fact, you know, where was more damage done? And the blaming of Trump, even in this situation. And a number of people have inflamed and have used crazy rhetoric. But ultimately, I always hold the person that committed whatever act is committed, that's the person responsible. Okay? It doesn't matter what I say. Okay? To accuse me of, Troy said this, and so this guy went and did that. Nobody makes you fucking do anything. Nobody makes you do anything. That was your decision that you went and did that. You know, Trump never went and said, storm the fucking Capitol building. He said, go there and protest. He didn't say go inside
And destroy everything.
and destroy anything or sit at Nancy Pelosi's desk. He didn't say that. And again, like, why is it okay for Hillary to not believe that the election was stolen from her, but Trump, it's not okay for him to believe that? Why is it okay for Trump to criticize not okay for Trump to criticize a judge? That's just an attack on judges, and they're gonna kill him. But it's okay for Democrats to attack judges, to protest in front of conservative judges' homes, and do crazy ass shit. That's okay. You don't ever hear these motherfuckers condemning that. They never do. Not once. So we just shouldn't be fucking surprised that this happened. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. I think it's going to be much harder for it to happen again because of the heightened security and the security that I'm not even talking about the government implements, but, you know, the Trump campaign and the RNC and taking more things into their hands. And
do you think we'll see Trump in public soon? Or do you think
I can tell you this, Trump will not hide.
Yeah.
This idea that Trump won't do a rally like this again. Now, maybe there won't be a crowd behind him again because you might not want to be doing
But
that.
other people in danger. Yeah.
But there will be a lot of people. Would I sit behind Trump at a rally? Yes, I would. Because I'm fuck you. I'm fuck you. Fuck you, motherfuckers. That's just me, okay? And I'm not alone. There's a bunch of us that would. We'd fill the stands.
So
enough of us.
do
They may not allow it, and then there's going to be some type of glass, plexiglass,
something to protect them. Yeah.
some type of protective that can still be seen through that will protect the back and the sides, so then they can focus on the front.
Yeah.
That you only have the front to guard that way and not the side. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you think
And there is stuff like that available.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure they're going to take precautions.
there already is. Yeah. So I believe Trump will continue to do rallies as long as people will come, and I believe people will. Now, you're probably not going to bring your 4-year-old, okay? And people would do that. People would bring their kids like it was a big deal.
Well, the firefighter, what was his name? Sorry.
Yeah.
Corey. He was protecting his family when he got shot.
Mm-hmm. So people might not bring younger kids, that kind of thing. I could see that happening, but I think Trump will still do the rallies, that they're not just going to become small or that kind of thing, because that's not who he is. The raised fist is who he is. The fight is who he is. And he said, they're coming after you. They're coming after you. I'm putting myself in between them and you. And what did he basically do yesterday? That's basically what he did. That is the message. And now it's played out. It's played out. So I think he'll, like even going into diners or,
Really?
burger places. He is not going to change a single thing. He will not change of places he's going. Again, like I said, there may be certain adjustments made based on the crowd, but is he going to still do events as close to the way that he does them now? Yes. Absolutely, I believe he will.
So do you think this is overall a good or a bad thing?
Oh, I think it's a horrible thing. It's absolutely a horrible thing. But it doesn't matter. What matters is how you react to it.
I guess let me rephrase the question. For Trump and his power in the U.S., do you think this overall was a good or a bad thing?
Well, I think if you want to look at it like some have, and I tend to agree. I tend to agree that was it. Like the debate was really, really bad.
Yeah.
This is now that you couldn't stop him from running. That was your first plan of attack, is you were trying to get him not to run. Then he ran, so you've attacked him through the courts, through lawfare, as many ways as you can to slam and smear him, and not one. And the reason I know that's true is I can tell you, not one of those lawsuits or charges would have been filed against him had he not run for president. If he just would said, I'm done, I'm never running again, none of this shit would have happened. All right? And they thought they could end him with that. They thought they could end him by convicting him even. And then his poll numbers went up after you convict him. And they're like, fuck, this is it. Then you try to take him physically end his life. And then that didn't work. You're fucked. Your side is fucked. Because the people in the middle that maybe really didn't like Trump, and they didn't like the mean tweets, and they don't like his personality and everything, they still remember the country was running pretty good, and they'd rather it be somebody else. But between a feeble old man that we've all seen and been exposed, and somebody who's just a little crude sometimes, and then to see what the other side has tried to do to him, because look, you have this group and this group. You have this team, and you have team A and team B, right? And most of that is never going to change. And I don't know what the exact percentage is off the top of my head. It might be somewhere between 10 and 15%, but it's somewhere around there of people that go both ways.
Gotcha.
Or the people that call themselves independents. And I hate the fucking independent people that call themselves independent, because a lot of them try to make it like they're better than you. I'm independent. I consider both sides. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what it is, motherfucker? You're in the middle of the road and you're roadkill. Because you don't have a philosophy. Jesus. I'm not even drinking that much pot. But you don't have a belief, a core belief of how you think things should be. And everybody shouldn't have the same core belief, but you should have one. See, I'm okay if your core belief is different than mine. I respect that if you really believe it. But when you don't really believe it, when it's just out of hate and stupidity, and you won't even consider other facts that are real, legitimate facts, because it's like people they think everything is an opinion now. No, it's not. Some shit is just fucking true. It's just a fact. It's unchangeable. You can repeat it differently. It doesn't matter. You're making shit up. So I think that this is a horrible thing that happened. But as far as the election goes, I don't know what Trump would have to do to lose it at this point. I'm not sure what he would have to do. But at this point, it's his to lose. You can't come back from this. You can't come back from that debate and then have this happen with an attempt on his life trying to take him out, because all you've done is demonstrate. You tried to take him out during his presidency. You impeached him over bullshit that people are just done. And there are a lot of people that I know, Republicans, that voted for Trump, supported Trump, and would like to have supported Trump again, but voted for DeSantis and were supported DeSantis at the beginning of the whole campaign and everything, because they're just tired. They're just tired of the bang, 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 this back and forth, and they just want it to be done and move on and do good things for the country. And DeSantis had a lot of Trump policies, and he was younger. He just ran a shitty campaign that, let's go with this guy because he doesn't have the baggage Trump does, and he supports a lot of the same policies that Trump does. So let's go with that. Those people are back. Those people are back now. that now those people are like, yeah, this isn't acceptable. You don't get to do this. There are consequences. And so my whole point of this, I'm okay with doing battle at the ballot. Let's do battle at the ballot because you don't want the battle to go beyond that. I'm telling you, you don't. And if you think so, fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. But you don't want that. Battle at the ballot. And Republicans don't take this for granted that it's a done deal now. Do everything you can do as far as getting ballots in people's hands, as far as harvesting, whatever is fucking legal to do to get ballots in people's hands and get them to a ballot box and delivered, whatever is legal, we need to be doing the same shit as those motherfuckers. Whatever the rules are, what the rules are. We don't have to like them. We do have to play by them. And if we want to win, we have to finish the job. Now go finish the job because it's ripe to be finished. And if we don't do that, like, do I think the country is going to fuck? I don't think the country will end if Trump is president or Biden is president. Can Biden continue to do what I consider to be more damage? Absolutely he can. He's already done damage. He's already done damage to for the energy sector, for example, like tremendous amount of it. Can he do enough damage that it just totally fucking ends our country? No, he can't. He can't. Nobody can. That's not our system. All right. So but that heightened crap that they keep repeating over and over again, that the country ends, democracy ends. If Trump is in, it's the end of it's not the end of it's not the end of your world either, princess. It's not. Fucking buckle up, okay? Just get to work. Focus on your own fucking life. Get your own shit better. Because one of the things that they say during elections, right, is are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I am better off than I was 4 years ago. And I'm better off 4 years ago because of me. Not a single Biden policy had any influence on me being better off now than I was 4 years ago. And that's just the way it is. And just because I say that I am better off doesn't mean I'm going to vote for Biden. I'm not, because he had no bearing on that. Zero. Because I've also been in a situation where the economy, the overall economy, was fantastic, and my personal economy sucked ass, like was horrible, like during the Clinton years. You know, it was the best time of our economy was Reagan, okay? And then after that, the next best time was Clinton, okay? And during those years, during this best economic time ever, my personal economy was bullshit. I was rolling change to have money to put gas in my vehicle, and gas was cheap. Gas was cheap. But it didn't matter if gas was cheap if I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford cheap gas. So, you know, I don't think that's a necessarily bad thing to ask, you know, are you better off? Because, you know, certainly some people are affected. Like, again, if you're a blue collar worker and you work on pipelines and you're not getting as much work as you did before because we're not doing the same amount of pipelines, that's a direct impact. You're not better off than you were 4 years ago because of somebody's specific policies. So that absolutely can be the case. It absolutely can be. It's just not my case. And I'm just being transparent and honest about my own personal situation. But what's going to happen is going to happen. We can only control one thing, our own vote. That's the only thing we can control is our own vote. That's it. And I'm going to vote for Trump as many times as they let me. I just like saying that just to tweak people. Because no, I am not voting multiple times. I'm not going to be illegally voting. But it was fun to say. All right.
Got to rattle some people.
Yes. So that was totally not how I thought this was going to go. Not at all.
So what are your final thoughts before we end this right here on the whole situation?
My final thoughts are just how horrible this is, how bad this makes us look as a country. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in coming together with those people. Just this is like we're never going to be friends. Okay? Me and the other said we're never going to be friends. But this is like going to a family event and there's somebody that you just fucking despise in the family. And it's a graduation party or it's a wedding and you just show up and be fucking civil. Maybe you even shake their hand. Hey, how are you? Just be a motherfucking civil human being. That I can be and that I will be. But against policies and this crazy rhetoric about being a racist, I'm going to push back against that shit all day long. All day long. But I'm going to be civil. And that's all I ask of the others. Just be fucking civil. Don't be a fucking idiot. Stop with the fucking Hitler. Stop with the racist. Talk about policy. You want to talk about and lie about Trump's policies and taxes? Lie about that. The other shit, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. And we need to get through this so we can move on because this is a tremendous time in our country and the world. I don't know that there would be a better time to be alive than right now because of what's going to happen over the next 20, 30 years. And that's about what I have. I'm 56 years old. I always say 95 and dead in the grave. So I have still left some years ahead of me, and I am just excited to see about what happens over that time and innovation. And, I'm excited for the Jetsons, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what
Flying
is going to happen?
cars,
It's going to be faster than we fucking think. It's going to be so fast, so fast. And I just implore people to embrace it and learn. Embrace it. That would be the smart thing to do. Tremendous time to be alive. Just so much opportunity. Yeah, we sometimes we look on the past and think, long for the past. Man, we have it so easy today. It's so fucking easy. We really do. And especially here where we have American privilege. Not white privilege, okay? We have American privilege. We're all privileged. I said this last night at dinner. People don't like when I say this, but it's true. We have the richest poor of anywhere in the world. Of anywhere in the world, we have the richest poor. In what other country do the poor people have cell phones and air conditioning that aren't homeless, but are just poor? A lot of them. Like, is 80%, okay? It's a lot of people. We have rich, poor people now.
Oh, yeah. Compared
to the world. That's my point. A lot of opportunity, and just with everything going on, we need to focus on that.
I agree.
All right. I am the Outlaw Apostle. This is the Outlaw Apostle Show. Troy Neff, your host.